Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I'm Griffin Green. I'm a member of this congregation and today's worship attendant. With me in today's service are our Director of Music, Aubrey Connelly-Candelario, our Minister, Reverend Margalie Belizaire, our Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrall, the accompanist, Daniela Monzon-Villegas, and the Chalice Choir. We also have board member Michael Lewis, who will invite us into the practice of generosity. Finally, let's not forget our teams of wonderful people in the background working diligently to ensure that we come together this morning. So thank you. Thank you. Children will go to activities when we sing them out after the time for all ages, and the nursery is open till noon. We greet you this morning, old friends and new ones, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are a non-creedal community that does not subscribe to a specific set of beliefs. We live by a covenant that encourages ethical behavior, affirms democracy, celebrates the worth of each individual, and unites us in a search for truth and meaning. Whether today is your first or your 1,000th Sunday in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. In this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. For more information about our congregation and announcements, go to orlandouu.org or email info@orlandouu.org. We have a few special announcements today. At noon today, here in the sanctuary, we will welcome Floridians for Freedom and the League of Women Voters for a presentation on the League's voting guide on the Florida amendments. All are welcome, and childcare is provided until 1:15 p.m. Slight editorial. Be there, guys. This sounds really cool. Just a reminder that First Sunday community gatherings are happening this afternoon/evening on the first Sunday of every month. UU members and friends gather for fellowship and conversation in different geographical areas. Please check the First Sunday Fellowship page of our website for more information or see Steph Garber. Next Sunday, October 13th, join Aubrey and Reverend Margalie at 12 p.m. in Classroom B for Let's Talk UU. Bring your favorite hymn. Come have fun with us as we sing. See Reverend Margalie again for more information. From Children's Religious Enrichment, Morning Munchkins will be next Sunday at 9:30 a.m. in the gathering space. This is a delightful time for parents with kids in the RE program to get to know one another, get caught up, and of course enjoy coffee and breakfast goodies. From the board, next Sunday is also a pancake breakfast during Conversations with the Board from 9:15 to 10:15 a.m. in Gore Hall. You can RSVP via the QR code shown on the screen. All other announcements are on slides before and after the service and have links in the weekly update or on our website. If you would like to follow along to the service or see this week's upcoming events, please use the QR code shown on the monitor. We also have an order of service in a larger font for those who need it. It includes the hymns and other writings we have on slides during the service. And here is the QR code to access it. And thank you again for being here in person and online today.
Why here today? Here today in this place and with these people. May we listen so that we hear. May we hear so that we feel. May we feel so that we know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice light our way. Eric Wickstrom. And now, please join me in saying the words, as we light the chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. We invite you now to remain seated and deeply listen as the Chalice Choir sings on Wings of Songs. Good morning, beloveds. It's good to be with you this morning, engaging in this month's theme, which is an invitation to us and to the practice of deep listening. And here are some ways that you mentioned when the worship team execs asked you at the beginning of the church year, what are some ways you can practice this throughout the month? And you had listen without judgment or unsolicited advice. Listening to yourself, getting in touch with your breath first, so you can dive in with others the same. Remember that our inner voice is a teacher and has much to teach us. Although society makes it easier for us to seek external advice. You wanted to remind yourself to be mindful of your breath. Having coffee with friends, listening to one another, supporting someone through grief or mental health challenges. Also, to remember that during a conversation, don't be planning what you'll say. Listen to the other person. And listen quietly with intention. Hear not only the words, but the emotion. So these are some of the things that you came up with. And this morning, we invite you into this practice through a contemplative service with music, readings, and meditation. You may have heard it said, don't just sit there, do something. Today, we are inviting you to instead, don't just do something, sit there. And listen. Listen reverently. We will fully ask you to do this right after we sing the children out to their activities. So we know that it may be too much to ask of the children. And in the spirit of maintaining the atmosphere of deep and reverent listening, we kindly ask you to withhold applauses at the end of each musical performance this morning. Your silence might help preserve the reverence and deep connection we hope to create through the music. And having said that, offer yourself and each other grace should you automatically start to clap. Right? Stop as soon as you realize that you are, and let us not let that get in the way of our time together. And this request is for this Sunday, just today, as we invite this experience of deep listening. We are literally asking you to don't just do something, stop and listen. And perhaps if we listen, we might hear the joys of the people around us. We might hear the concerns of our community. We might hear sorrow in a voice that breaks. We might hear a laugh hiding behind words. If we listen, we may hear the sounds of life around us. We may hear the creatures with whom we share these grounds. We may hear the engine hum of airplanes or cars, of strangers and neighbors traveling. We may hear the whistling of wind, our AC unit, tumbling of leaves. If we listen, we may hear the sounds of the company of people. We may hear the coughing and sniffling of seasonal colds. We may hear the breathing of those nearby. We may hear the sigh of a body letting go. We may hear the wiggle of the restlessness of sitting, the shuffle of paper and purse and hymnal. If we listen, we may hear ourselves. We may hear our joy and laughter and sorrow. We may hear our own humming and tumbling. We may hear our own breathing. We may hear our own longing. Listen. Reverend Darcy Lane. And come, beloveds, let us worship together, and let's start this by greeting one another. This is your chance to talk and move.
Can we hear me now? Can we hear me now? Woo! It's time for all ages. My name is, for the visitors here amongst us today, my name is Judith Stein-Farrall. I am the director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, and you can usually find me not wearing my name badge like I'm not wearing it today. I apologize. All right, we have time for all ages this morning, and I'm inviting kids of all ages, kids at heart, to join me up here. And this is going to break the reverence of the silence today. You can sit or you can stand.
I'm pretty sure it always does.
It breaks the reverence of the silence? Yes, it always does. This is true. All right. However, as I'm bringing up the kids, this is a time for all ages, for all ages. The next slide. We are going to play Simon Says this morning. So all ages can embody listening. Next slide. Why do we play Simon Says? All right, I'm going to start with our youth here, and then I'll look to the kids, and then I'll look to all of you. Youth.
Because it practices listening and paying attention to what people say.
Paying attention to what people say and listening.
You took my answer.
Silly folks have the same concept. Why do we play why do we play Simon Says? It helps us learn. Anybody else have something down here? I'm going to go out to the grown-ups for. Anybody out there want to share?
It's fun.
It's fun. Say it again. To listen. Right. Next slide. It is fun. It is a form of exercise, oddly enough. It challenges us. It is a cognitive practice, which means putting our mind and our bodies to work, right? We practice paying attention, which is kind of listening. And we practice discernment and decision-making. So everybody probably knows how to play Simon Says. Is there anyone that doesn't know how to play Simon Says? I'm going to give you instructions anyway. If I say Simon Says, and that's where you see the green speaker bubble. If I say, wait, back it up. If I say Simon Says do something, what do you do? If I don't say Simon Says, but I tell you to do something, what do you do? Don't do it. Good. Now, next slide. So, if I say, next slide, put your hands on your hips. Next slide. Whoops. If I say, Simon Says, put your hands on your hips. There you go. Good. If Simon says to do something, okay, back up. If Simon says to do something, and then says to do something else, just move on to the other thing. You don't have to get an instruction to stop one and start the other. Okay? Now, got it? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. All right, so good. I'm glad you said no. If Simon says, touch your knees, Simon says, touch your nose, Simon says, touch your head, you can just go from one to the other. You don't have to be, Simon says, stop touching your knees first. Got it? Okay. All right. That makes sense now? All right. Now, you can choose to either stand up or sit down, whichever you want to. And I suspect some of the kids will, yeah. There are no winners and losers in this game. This is practice. We are doing the practice of deep listening here. Charlotte says, if you make a mistake, you laugh at yourself. Y'all watching at home, I hope you try this too. Don't hesitate to put a comment in the chat or to email me. I never get your feedback, and I don't know how this translates at home. So, all right, is everybody ready? All right. Simon says, wiggle your nose like you used to watch when you watched Bewitched. Wiggle your nose. Simon says, wiggle your nose. Simon says, stamp your feet or march in place. Simon says, stop stamping your feet or march in place. Good. Simon says, clap your hands. Simon says, put your hands on your head. Simon says, snap your fingers. Stop snapping your fingers. Good. Simon says, stop snapping your fingers. Whew, you're listening so well. Simon says, say, shh, 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 shh. Simon says, say, shh, shh, loudly, shh, 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 shh. Simon says, say, shh, 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 quietly. Simon says, stop shushing. Well done. Simon's game over. Simon says, give yourselves a round of applause. Simon says, the game's over, but I want to do a quick review. Why do we do this? Because it's fun, right? It's a form of exercise. Good. It challenges us. Yes. It helps us listen, exactly. It is cognitive practice. We practice paying attention. It helps us practice how to focus, right? And it helps us learn and practice discernment and making decisions. And we practice listening. All right, now we are going to practice the skill of sending our children off to classes. I invite us, those of us over here, to create a loving arch to sing them out on their way. I pushed it down a little.
I am my silence. I am not the busyness of my thoughts or the daily rhythm of my actions. I am not the stuff that constitutes my world. I am not my talk. I am not my actions. I am my silence. I am the consciousness that perceives all these things. When I go to my consciousness, to that great pool of silence that observes the intricacies of my life, I am aware that I am me. I take a little time each day to sit in my silence so that I can move outward and balance into the great clamor of living. Richard Wagamies.
Good morning. My name is Michael Lewis, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. We invite you, bless you. We invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values which sustains the life and ministries of the church community. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our needs, for they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. As part of our practice of generosity, we participate in sharing the plate with community partners. As you may know, these partners are nominated by and chosen by you. Well, it is once again time to make your nomination for potential Share the Plate recipients for the year 2025. Please see the weekly update. This month's Share the Plate recipient is Share the Care. Pat Chuck, their Director of Community Development, will now share with us some information about this organization. Pat?
Good morning. As Mike said, my name is Pat Chuck, and I'm the Community Development Director of Share the Care, and I'd like to thank you all, especially Catherine Vaquero, for our nomination and this amazing opportunity to participate in your Share the Plate program. Share the Care is a nonprofit organization that has been serving Central Florida for 35 plus years. We provide services, education, training, and resources to family caregivers so that they can maintain their loved ones at home, reducing or eliminating the need for institutional care. We do that by operating currently four adult day health centers that serve Orange and Seminole counties. We're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and I think that helps us to support the working caregivers with those hours. An expanded behavioral health program was created and developed to address the emotional and mental health and wellness of our caregivers. They experience individual counseling, webinars that are ongoing weekly, workshops, and we also have monthly support group meetings that's held at our location in Winter Park. In addition to these services, we have case management available to all our clients. We have in-home respite companion care for your loved ones, overnight respite in assisted living facilities. We also have monthly incontinent and nutritional supplies and do a little bit of home safety modification. All these services, amazingly, are under one umbrella. They're available under one umbrella, and they're accessible through our care management team that serves the eligible clients who are eligible for these services. In addition to the services we provide, we also do programs. We have an upcoming program, which is our Caregiver Appreciation Brunch, that's happening on November 6th, and that is in recognition of National Caregivers Month. So we have this to, just show appreciation for our caregivers, and it is taking place at Lou Gardens. After, the program, the caregivers and attendees are invited to enjoy the gardens. So that's a great closing to that celebration. We also have our annual Caregiver Forum, which is a 3-day, 2-night getaway at a wonderful resort. We'll be having a new event space this year and hoping that all goes well. But this is an opportunity for the caregivers to get away from their caregiving responsibilities, meet some new friends, make memories, and just have fun, you know, getting recharged and going back with a feeling of being energized and more empowered with the knowledge that we share with our workshops that take place at the forum. We appreciate your generosity of time, talent, and treasure in all that you're able to give today, because great or small, we will benefit from it all. I will be available after service with some brochures and flyers if you have any questions or interest in anything that I've shared with you just now. So thank you very much, and we appreciate and I have gratitude for all that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pat. The offering will now be collected. Note that you can also give online. Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
This, it is working. This is the time we have set aside for the deep sharing of our hearts. And for prayer and meditation. If you have a sorrow you need witness or help with, or have a joy you wish to share, please contribute to our collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read each Sunday during worship. You can do that during the week by emailing us at joysandsorrows@orlandouu.org, or if you're attending in person, you can fill out a card, and our greeters make sure that we receive it here so that we can share it with the congregation. And we also offer you a time to light a candle with whatever you carry on your heart that you want to lay here. So bring your joys, bring your sorrows as we come together. Come just as you are, because your whole self is welcome here in the sacred space we are creating together. We have, I believe, these beautiful flowers. I thought I saw Karina. Yes, Vidro bringing him up here. It wasn't noted in here, but thank you so much for the flowers. And also, Scott and Sarah are moving to Albuquerque, at the end of the month. We are looking for boxes. Thanks in advance. Well, Scott and Sarah, wishing you the best. We will miss you here. And if you have boxes, Scott, Sarah, could you let folks know where you are? Okay. Marty Haney asks for healing thoughts for Pete, who is scheduled for shoulder surgery this coming Friday. So let's make sure that throughout the week, and especially on Friday, if you could take a moment and just send healing energy to both Marty and to Pete. We have this from Beth and Laura. 18 years ago, my mom, Kate Tura, passed away. She was a lot of fun. I still miss her. She loved having people drop by to visit, and that's why she kept an extra box of wine in the garage. At least that's what she said. Tomorrow, Laura and I will help our beloved Orange Tabby Hamilton cross over to the Rainbow Bridge. We were lucky to find each other, and we always felt that we got the better end of the deal. We will miss him. I know I saw you here, Beth. Sorry so much about the passing of your cat, and I imagine this brings back memories of the passing of your mom, so sending you both healing energy. And from the larger community, as we contemplate today during this time together, there is much to reflect on. Tomorrow is October 7th, which is a year from the day of the horrific act perpetrated by Hamas, which has since led to so many more horrific acts that continue to take place even today. October 4th in Canada was Sisters of Spirit Vigils, honoring the lives of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And it is bullying month, right? And it's interesting that we have to have a time to remind people to not bully other people. So, if you have someone in your life who you suspect is being bullied, if you could be that oasis for them, if you could be a space of support. Yet, even with all the bad in the world, we know that there is much to celebrate as well. This month is LGBTQ+ month, History Month. It's the October 11th is National Coming Out Day. Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement, is on the 11th and 12th. And it is October 6th, right? And it is, would you believe, World Smile Day? And you know, as a clergy, I would be remiss to not say, and Reverend Kirsten and Reverend Kathy, I don't think Reverend Marnie's here today, that October 13th is Clergy Appreciation Day. I'm just saying, however you appreciate clergy, just saying. And we continue to hold our Orlando families in love, our communities with care, and the world with our compassion by acting for justice in all the small and large ways that will move the arc of justice. And we know that wars, fires, floods, and other devastations continue to impact the lives of many around the globe. Let us remember our connection to all living creatures and send them loving kindness. May all be at peace. And for all the joys and all the sorrows of this community shared today, and for those held close to the heart, let us pray, let us celebrate, and let us send each other healing energy. I now invite us into a guided meditation, which will be followed by a poem for you to reflect on. The poem is called Summons by Aurora Levins Morales, and then some silence. So, sit as comfortably as you can. See if you can get about 5% more comfortable than you are right now. Let us take some deep breaths together. We'll take 3. Second one. And another. Think of these breaths, and now breathe normally. And think of these breaths, the deep ones and the normal way that you regularly breathe. Think of them as life itself. And as you breathe, this thing you do normally every day, I ask you to do a scan of your body, starting from your feet. Feel the positioning of your feet, and see where there is some discomfort. And get them a little bit more comfortable if you can, and scan your way up to your knees. If you need to shift your position, do so. To your thighs, to your buttocks, your stomach, your chest area, your shoulders, and every time you scan a part of your body, relax it a little bit more. Your shoulders, let them drop. Sometimes we hold so much tension there, we don't even realize that we are stiffening our bodies, our shoulders. And scan your head. And now, I ask you to just listen. To your breathing. Listen to the sounds that you yourself are making, just as deeply as you can. Listen for any minute sounds. Now listen for those sitting around you, near to you. Listen for their breathing. Sounds, minute sounds. And now listen to the entire room, different sounds that are happening. These are everyday sounds. Your friends and neighbors here. The sound of the AC unit, those are all sounds of life. Sometimes we notice these sounds, sometimes we don't. Now, I want you to try very hard now to reach to hear the furthest that you can. What is the furthest sound that you can hear? I hear all sorts of sounds. Some I recognize, some I don't. Now come back a little closer. Listen to the people near you again. And return back to you, to your sounds, to your heart. And focus on your breathing. And as you do that, I want to take us back a little bit to just think of the events of October 7th, 2023, and the subsequent events, and to think of those starving in Sudan and others in Ukraine and other part of the world still, all over our Blue Boat home, who continue to be impacted by war. And as you do that, I invite you to hear this dream by the poet Aurora Lavenz Morales. Last night, I dreamed 10,000 grandmothers from 1,200 corners of the earth walked out into the gap. One breath, deep, between the bullets and the flesh, between the bomb and the family. They told me we cannot wait for governments. There are no peacekeepers boarding planes. There are no leaders who dare to say every life is precious. So it will have to be us. They said we will cup hands around each heart. We will sing the earth song, the song of water, a song so beautiful that vengeance will turn to weeping. The mourners will embrace, and grief replace every impulse towards harm. 10,000 is not enough, they said. So we have sent this dream like a flock of dove into the sleep of the world. Wake up. Put on your shoes. You who are listening to this, I am bringing bandages and a bag of scented guavas from my trees. I think I remember the tune, Meet Me at the Corner. Let's go. you are now invited to come forward and light a candle of welcome, remembrance, loving kindness. Our first candle will be for those who are joining us online for their joys and concerns. And we will light the last one for all the joys that we continue to hold close to our hearts. So come forward as you are willing and able. How good it is to center down, to sit quietly and see oneself pass by. The streets of our minds seethe with endless traffic. Our spirits resound with clashing, with noisy silences. While something deep within hungers and thirsts for the still moment and the resting lull. The questions persist. What are we doing with our lives? What are the motives that order our days? What is the end of our doings? Where are we trying to go? Over and over, the questions beat in upon the waiting moment. As we listen, floating up through the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there is a sound of another kind, a deeper note, which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered, our spirits refreshed, and we move back into the traffic of our daily resound with the peace of the eternal in our step. How good it is to center down. Howard Thurman. I am my silence. I am not the business of my thoughts or the daily rhythm of my actions. I am not the stuff that constitutes my world. I am not my talk. I am not my actions. And your call for action this week is to find moments in your day, carve out some moments for stillness so you can hear the wisdom from your own hearts. May we be so blessed.
Please say these words with me as we extinguish this chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fires of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.